Well, getting the notice for jury service was sort of a shock.
Oh, brother, you have to go through jury duty.
I was excited, interested.
And curious.
That's going to be hard to fit it in my schedule.
But I also really wanted to contribute.
Welcome, and thank you for your time. Your role as a juror is very important, and we want to thank you for your service. We hope this video will answer many of your questions and help you feel more comfortable. And by the end of the day, we hope you will gain a better understanding and appreciation of the American justice system.
I was very nervous.
When I reported to the courthouse for jury duty, I really didn't know what to expect.
And it turned out to be nothing to worry about.
Everyone was very relaxed and receptive and helpful. And so it was very easy to get in and play your part.
Jury duty is a responsibility that we all share. More than 200 years ago, the framers of our Constitution established trial by juror as a fundamental American right. Today, you are helping to preserve that heritage. You might be asking yourself, why me? Without you, the jury system wouldn't work. Your name was randomly drawn from a pool that includes voter records, driver's licenses, non-driver IDs, and state income tax records. The jury selection process almost never lasts for more than one day. If you are selected to try a case, you will serve until the trial is finished, which usually lasts 1 to 3 days. Regardless of whether you are selected to sit as a juror in a case, your attendance today means you are exempt from jury service for at least 2 years. After that, your name might again be randomly drawn from the jury pool. Jury service is not only part of your duty as an American citizen, but should also be thought of as a privilege that accompanies living in a free society. Today is a very important day for the parties in the case you will hear. Take your role as seriously as you would want from a juror if you were a party in a case.
I realized that to be a good juror, I need to pay close attention.
Because, the responsibility is pretty high.
I needed to be open-minded,
I need to take it serious.
listen carefully to what everyone was saying, look for detail.
During the selection process, jurors are selected from a pool of prospective members. When you first check in for jury selection, you may be given information to fill out. You will also be assigned a number. During the selection process, you will be referred to by the number given to you. This is also a time when you can ask questions. After initial orientation is finished, you will be escorted to the courtroom.
All arrived for the jury? Entering the courtroom as a juror was very different.
Before this, I'd never been in a courtroom before, so this was my first experience.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us. This is a time set for trial in the matter of State of Utah versus Williams.
You will be asked questions to help the judge and parties learn more about you so they can decide if you will be selected as a juror. You will swear or affirm that what you say is true. Answer the questions fully and truthfully. This is called voir dire, which means to speak the truth.
If so, say I do.
I do.
Thank you. You may be seated.
But I answered honestly the questions that were presented to me, and I thought it gave me a chance to feel a little sense of community with the other potential jurors that were there.
You may be asked questions about your personal experiences and opinions. If you feel uncomfortable in answering a question in front of other jurors and the public, you may ask the judge to let you answer it in private. However, your response becomes part of the court record. In Utah, no one is exempt from jury service, whether you are a doctor, a lawyer, a school teacher, or the governor. You may, however, ask the judge to excuse you from jury service if you believe you have undue hardship, public necessity, or because you are incapable of jury service. If you believe that you should be excused for one of these 3 reasons, tell the judge. During or after the voir dire interview, a party may ask the judge to excuse you for cause. This is called a challenge for cause. There is no limit to the number of jurors who might be challenged for cause, but the party making the challenge has to provide a reason why they believe there is a cause to strike. It might, for example, be because you happen to know one of the parties, or lawyers, or witnesses, or maybe you know about the case. Even if there is not a challenge for cause, a judge may ask you additional questions. The questions are not meant to attack you personally, but only to fully explore your ability to be a fair and impartial juror. After the voir dire interviews are finished, the parties may excuse jurors by peremptory challenges. The party does not have to give a reason for peremptory challenges. It may be for a variety of reasons that may have no bearing on you personally. A party, however, cannot use peremptory challenges to discriminate based on race or gender in asking for a juror to be excused. Once all challenges are complete, you will take an oath promising to fairly decide the case. The judge will explain the trial process and the duties for the judge, the attorney, and the jury.
It became real for me when I was selected and I moved over to the jury seats.
Things really sunk in for me when I saw the person standing trial and listened to the defense making their opening statement.
It's a person that you're dealing with. It's not just a TV show.
All rise. Third District Court is now in session. The Honorable Elizabeth Ruby Mills is presiding. Thank you. Please be seated.
The judge who sits behind the desk, called the bench, presides over the trial, making rulings and directing the proceedings. The judge is responsible for protecting the rights of all concerned and ensuring the trial is orderly and fair. The court clerk sits near the judge. The clerk is responsible for assisting the judge and creating a summary of the proceedings for the official court files. The clerk will administer the oath to the jurors and witnesses. The clerk is also responsible for keeping track of evidence and exhibits. A bailiff maintains order and security and serves as your contact with the judge. In a criminal case, the prosecutor is a lawyer who represents the state. The defendant is a person who has been charged with a crime. The defendant will usually be represented by a defense attorney. In a civil case, the plaintiff is a person or company who has filed the lawsuit. The defendant is the person or company who is being sued. The plaintiff and defendant may or may not be represented by an attorney. There might be more than one plaintiff or more than one defendant. Each side will make an opening statement describing the evidence that the parties expect to present. The opening statements are not evidence. After all of the evidence is presented, the judge will give you specific instructions to guide you through the entire process. From the time you enter the courtroom through the end of the deliberations, the judge will be there to guide you through the process. Ultimately, you will decide the facts based on all of the evidence presented.
To be a juror, to keep an open mind is essential till the very end.
Just be engaged, to be there listening, making sure that you weigh all the information, and not make a fast judgment initially.
We were given very detailed instruction of how to determine the outcome of the trial.
I was curious why we weren't allowed to talk about the trial before deliberation, but then it became really clear that we needed all the facts.
The judge's materials helped us focus in, and that was critical because there was a lot of emotion.
It was interesting to sit and listen to what everyone had to say.
Their point of views were different than mine, but as they were different, we all came together collectively.
Knowing that I had a voice in this decision and that other people had the voice in this decision, that it wasn't just one person, it wasn't just a judge.
I felt very good about my service there.
That we were doing our civic duty.
When it was all done and the judge excused us and thanked us for being there, I felt like we had done something important.
If your friends are telling you how to get out of it like mine did, don't take it. I really hope to be able to do it again someday.
We hope you have learned a little about the jury trial process, the people, the parties, and what is expected of you. But if you have any questions now or during the trial, ask the clerk or bailiff. They are there to serve you. The jury clerk will now tell you what happens next.